what the government is attempting to do indirectly, what the Constitution prohibits it from doing directly. We saw this in the 2020 presidential election, where the government pressured Twitter to suppress speech unfavorable to Joe Biden and to promote speech unfavorable to Donald Trump. This is the government affecting speech because of its content, absolutely prohibited under the First Amendment. Now they're doing something similar to that, which is prohibited under the Fourth Amendment. If the government wants the contents of my mobile phone, or wants to know where I've been traveling, or wants to surveil my private conversations with you, they have to go to a federal judge and present evidence, probable cause of crime, in order to get that conversation. They're not doing that because they don't have probable cause of crime, because there is no crime. So instead, they'll go to General Motors to find out everywhere my truck has been by getting General Motors to download the computer chip in my truck. They'll go to Verizon and get it to download the contents of my mobile device, even though the Supreme Court has expressly ruled that downloading and tracking mobile devices requires a search warrant. They'll go to Chase Manhattan Bank and get a copy of my bank records. They will go to all places where we normally repose information about ourselves, not public information, not intended for the government, and they'll pay for it. So they're using tax dollars to buy what the Constitution prohibits them from acquiring. And the public needs to know about this, and Congress needs to do something about it. How do I know about this? The head of national intelligence, Avril Haines, she's the nominal boss of the 16 spying agencies the federal government has, revealed this to Congress. Only one member of Congress complained, Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon. He's great on civil liberties and on privacies. The rest was like, oh, ho hum, what do you expect? So if the Congress takes that attitude, if the people in whose hands we have reposed the Constitution for safekeeping, if the human beings who have sworn to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution don't do so, they should be thrown out of office, every single one of them.
You earlier mentioned the law prohibits them from downloading our cell phone information. Isn't that particular case involving law enforcement directly getting the information from the phone? In other words, they say, okay, we can't do it ourselves unless we go to court first and get a warrant. Let's just go to Verizon and get it from them. We're not directly. That's the workaround that they say they can stand behind.
Correct. And the other violation of the Fourth Amendment is the specificity requirement. I mean, the Fourth Amendment was written to prohibit what the British did to colonists, which was the employment of general warrants. A general warrant basically says to the bearer, search where you want and seize what you find. How do you get the general warrant? The government needs it. It's not probable cause, it's governmental need. Well, that's no standard at all, because the government will always claim that whatever it wants, it needs. That was the standard that the British used. It was against that backdrop that the Fourth Amendment was written. And so the warrant must not only, all surveillance warrants today must not only be based on probable cause of crime, they must specifically describe the place to be searched or the person or thing to be seized. If they don't, then it's a general warrant, and the Fourth Amendment was written to outlaw general warrants. General warrants were fishnets. Let's just go out there, knock on this door, see what this person has in their home. We'll pretend we're looking for tax cheats. We're really looking for people that might rebel against the king. It's 1766. It's 10 years before the Declaration of Independence. Madison lived through that as a young man, as a student at Princeton University. And he wrote the Fourth Amendment to assure that it would never happen again. And now it's happening. The very human beings we've hired to preserve, protect, and defend our rights are destroying them.